Hey y'all, it's Ashley with the first layout for the March 2014 Hip Kit Club. And the first thing I'm doing is taking the 12 by 12 American Crafts white cardstock, and I've gotten some number 2 pencils. And what I'm doing is taking the end where the eraser is and dabbing that into the ink and then putting it onto the paper as if it's a stamp. This is a great way to use something that you might have just laying around without having to buy a particular stamp to get a confetti-like element for your page. And I wanted to do something a little bit different. I tend to use mist and sprinklers a lot, and this is a great way to create your own background without having to buy something similar. And this actually reminds me of some of the Heidi Swapp. I think it was her Serendipity line. She has some similar paper like this, and I used it in a layout not too long ago, so if you can go back and look, but this is a great way to kind of get something like that similar. The inks that I used are mostly Stampin' Up, with the exception of this Heidi Swapp ink, which is mint green, but the first yellow one was Daffodil Delight, the second one was Smoky Slate, which is the gray color, and then the pink one is Blushing Bride. Again, I used the eraser, and I didn't use a separate pencil for each color. I just dabbed it off with a baby wipe, and that worked perfectly fine. Now I'm taking my picture and I'm just matting it onto the Paper Planes pattern paper by Dear Lizzy with the Daydreamer collection. And I'm going to pull out my different things from the kits and kind of just have a look through to see what I like. I didn't have a particular plan for this layout. I was playing around with the eraser because I had bought some to try this out. I've seen other people do it with paint, I think, and possibly watercolors, I'm not quite sure. And so I wanted to try it out with ink, and when it came out so good that I wanted to go ahead and just film me doing a layout. And so I didn't have I don't ever go by a sketch really, and so I didn't have I guess, full vision of what I was going to do for this layout, which I never really do, but I didn't have a plan at all. Sometimes I start to like put things on a page and I really like it, so I film it, and that's kind of how I work. Is I sort of practice, and then I think, oh, I like that, and I start to film it. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing and I just start putting stuff together and I end up liking it, and that's how I guess I get kind of some of my creativity out. But anyway, so I'm using mostly Dear Lizzy papers. The yellow and the pink, of course, are both Dear Lizzy, and then this hot air balloon is from the die cut pack. And same with this little ticket. It's one of those tickets, like, I guess it's supposed to kind of mimic a ticket that you get when you're waiting in line for something. Like, it reminds me of, I feel like I used to go to an ice cream place a long time ago. I don't remember what it's called now, but we used to get tickets and we used to have to wait for our number to be called or something. I don't know if I'm just completely thinking of something else or what, but that's what it reminds me of, and I can't think of the place or the name of the place. So I'm using some of the I'll Be Yours and You'll Be Mine is also from Dear Lizzy. The bicycle's from Dear Lizzy, and I love these die cuts. I'm so glad that I got 2 packs. I got a pack with the Hip Kit Club, which is what I'm using now, and then a couple of days later I received a Simon Says stamp order that I couldn't remember like exactly even what I ordered because it's been a little while, and so I remembered when I opened it, I was like, oh yeah, I did order this too, and I sort of didn't mean to, but I'm glad I did because I love them so much. And so I'm so glad that they came in the hip kits, which everything went so well together. I just can't get enough of it. So now I'm using the enamel dots that came in our kits as well, and these are from Dear Lizzy. And then I used the Love paper clip that I did decide to kind of cluster up with the other embellishments. I was thinking about putting it in the top left-hand corner of the photo, but it just kind of looked like it was in its own area and kind of, I'm trying to think of the word. It's like floating, I guess. Like, that's a hard word to think of. But anyway, so I kind of felt like it was just floating by itself, so I put it down with the other clusters. And then, of course, I added that button that you can take apart. And now I am taking that same Blushing Bride ink that matches the, I guess, confetti, or the handmade confetti, and I'm going to cut out this camera that it's part of it's the stamp add-on, and it's the Amy Tangerine set. And I also want to add that I put some LA Studio ephemera on there as well. So now I'm taking the heart from the Amy Tangerine stamp set that we got in the stamp add-on, and I wanted to add something a little bit different other than the confetti, so I am taking the heart and using some of the same colors to mix in with that confetti. And I'm showing you guys a stamp set there. And this is the chipboard pieces with the Daily Flash from our kits, the washi tape from the color kit, or the color add-on. And if you guys notice, I feel like there's a perfect diagonal of white space, and I don't like that. So what I'm going to do, I think now, or I'm showing you guys as if I'm done, but I'm not. I'm going to take, I'm almost done. I'm just going to take the pencil again, and I look at it thinking, oh, I need something else. And so I wanted to fill in that white space, but not completely. So what I'm going to do is add some floating confetti so that it's not perfect, but also that so that the white space is sort of filled in. So it's not going to be as grouped together as the other places, but there's going to be some floating. And I do think that that turned out a little bit better. Here are the final photos, and I hope you guys enjoyed the process, and I hope nothing was too confusing. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope you guys have a great weekend.